very windy out here. I'm by the pool. So I have recently begun embodying my decenterman era of my life. And even though this is new to me and it's still the beginning, I'm finding so much peace in this decision. And I want to help the girls. And basically, I just want to give you guys some things to look out for within yourself. So if any of you guys are wondering if you may be boy crazy or a little bit too male centered in your life to the point where it's unhealthy, here are some things that you should look out for, things that I had to see within myself that it's not healthy. The first point is pretty obvious, but I feel like I need to say it anyways. If you feel like you care way too much about what men think, and this can show up in many different ways, feeling like you need to be validated by them, feeling like you need to have approval, feeling like you need to be admired, that could mean that you care way too much about what men think about you, and it could be something to look into within yourself and see where can you cut back on caring so much. Honestly, there's no better way to put it. Care less. Another big one that is going to hurt a lot of the girlies' feelings, especially when you're big into friendships and girl groups. If you can look back at the conversations with your friends, and if you can determine that 70 to 80% of y'all's conversations is about men, you and your friends may be too male-centered. Literally, so many of my adult female friendships have been centered around men conversations, how men treat us, what new man is on the roster this week, what this man's doing for us, what this man's doing, what that man's doing, how our heart got broken, how we're rebuilding, all for a man. Way too male-centered. That is a really telltale sign. And as I've gotten older, I have realized that there's some people that you can talk to about that stuff, and then I have other friends who I've been friends with for years who I'm literally watching them go through their decenter men era and focusing on themselves, and they're thriving. They don't want to hear me come to them about men, and I could just subconsciously feel that, and you can feel energetic shifts. And those types of people that don't want to talk about men all the time, keep those girls around, because those are the girls that you can go and do so many different things with when you embody this new era and focus on yourself. And you can hang around them and not feel like you're still consumed with the presence of talking about men. Another thing to look out for to see if you are male-centered or boy crazy is if you are heartbreak prone. Like we all know in this era of dating and things like that, situationships is a big thing. So it's like you're together but not really together, you're together not really together, or like really short-term relationships where you may put a title on it but it just ends quickly. If at the end of these situationships and or short-term relationships you find yourself heartbroken almost every time, that means you're getting way too attached to these men that are temporary. Literally, it is breaking your heart every single time. That could mean that you're giving your heart away too quickly. Some situations can be that intense and throw you for a loop. Trust me, I know. I just got out of one that was like, I thought the other ones were bad, but that one threw me for a bigger loop than some of my longer relationships. And that was just a short situationship, and it threw me for more of a loop. So like, the time does not always indicate how intense your feelings can be, but if after every single ending of a situation you are heartbroken and down bad, that could be a sign that you need to step back. You need to step back and like reevaluate how much energy and how much of your heart you are giving out to every man that gives you consistent time of day. Whew, this one is a big one. And this is a big one for my anxious attached girlies. So it's so crazy. So I used to be anxiously attached. That was my signature, stamp it on my forehead, okay? When I was younger, I was anxiously attached to people. Yeah, so I was anxiously attached for many years. And then I became fearful avoidant. I was like, okay, instead of just anticipating that people are going to leave me, how about I just leave people first? So I was fearful avoidant for quite some time. And then I was recently thrown into different situations where I realized that I actually trickled back into anxiously attached. And how you can tell that you are anxiously attached and or male-centered and boy crazy is if you feel like you are anticipating their replies, always anticipating what the response is going to be, how long it's going to take for them to reply, what they're doing when they're not replying. If you are anticipating these things when you guys are in communication, when you're not with the person, that could be a big sign. And like if you do little tactics to avoid the anticipation or to like try to calm your nervous system down. And so knowing that I was literally anticipating their replies, I would hide alerts so that way I didn't seem too thirsty by wanting to reply immediately, or I just wasn't anticipating the notification coming up on my phone, and that would like help me. But the fact that I even had to do that, shows that I cared way too much. I cared way too much. Another thing to look out for, you guys, is if you find yourself constantly changing your plans for them. Like if they say they can see you at a certain time and you had something else planned, even if it's just for yourself. These can be solo plans. These could be work plans. If you had something else planned or designated during that time frame and they're saying they can see you during that time, and you, without even asking them if they can change their schedule, you automatically default to changing your schedule for them every single time. You don't want to ruffle any feathers by seeming too difficult, so you will literally rearrange your day and your plans for them. You're literally centering your day around when that man says he can see you. And I'm not saying that you need to be unwilling to compromise and change your plans around to see the person that you care about and getting to know. But if it's a consistent thing on your end and you are doing it for the reasons of not wanting to ruffle feathers and wanting to seem accommodating and agreeable because you think that that's what they would want you to do, that's not healthy. All right, the Lulu crew, step on in. Come in a little closer. We got to talk about this one. If you find yourself romanticizing everything a man does, even if it's just a small, regular gesture, you romanticize it, stop. Stop doing that. We got to stop doing that. We cannot romanticize this man into being the one. Just because he asked you if you ate doesn't mean that he wants to take care of you for the rest of his life. Like, we gotta stop romanticizing and exaggerating small gestures and taking everything that a man does and blowing it up into being this grand thing that means something more than what it actually means. And nowadays, I know it's hard, it's scary. A man can introduce you to their family, and to you, that means something much more than what it means to him. I get it, but we just have to take everything for what it is. And just because a man says that he wants to do something for you, until he actually does it, that doesn't mean anything. How are he scoring points with fake promises? And last but not least, the last tip that I have for you guys, and if I come up with some more things, I may do a part 2 to this video. If you find that you think about a man before you decide on a new look, mind you, this is your look. This is how you look. This is your hair. This is your wardrobe. This is your nails, your hair. If you want to get locks, but you're afraid that men will now see you as masculine, they won't see you as feminine, you know, all the talking points that come. If you're afraid of the negative things that a man's going to think about your locks and that's what's stopping you from getting locks, girl, please escape the need to have approval from the male gaze. Unless your job and your livelihood is dependent on the male gaze, then stop caring so much about it. Your wardrobe too. Dress how you want to dress. Dress how you want to dress. What do you like to wear? How do you like to look? So that's my video, y'all. And I know some of the points may have come up as harsh. It's all coming from love. It's all coming from a place that I've been. If any of those things resonated, let me know. And if you feel like I should have added some more points, let me know down in the comment section below.